Abusian for Mamunina Aqua Code about RAZ Media GH. So Abusia and your first time I message say Bomadana subscribe to the channel. Say Obabaye the part of the RAZ Media family. Abusian for Ajebo finally. Sammy Gyamfy and the master. Dennis Miracles Aboagye Akwakushiam Ewo News 5 on Joy FM and Joy TV. So what was the issue about? The issue about Donald Trump winning elections in US and Kamala Harris losing elections in America. Now, Akwakwe say people believe say the fact is say Kamala Harris now your vice presidency, you know. The same thing is going to reflect in Ghana. Say Donald Trump as a former president, what me assign Awene Aboagye president ewo America. Iti way ena yensema na yekoso ewo news file. Nye no nko the issue about LGBT plus Q bill at the parliament. Any speaker Gwambabe nsemfo na odi no parliament so number 3 no. Sansem we na yekoso ewo news file Joy. Na abusia Sammy Gyamfy open and see nsuo borowa ensuo eborowa no can say yes nsuo aboro, but I don't understand why Sammy Gyamfy always got heated and started acting like a mocha person. As a lawyer there, we expecting somebody as a lawyer to be more intellectual and less emotional. Abusia nsem no de namu wedru no de yenko tie how miracle schooled the stupid Sammy Gyamfy, the liar Sammy Gyamfy. Yeba ni asaya to aso. Subscribe to our channel and become part of our family.
Doesn't necessarily mean that party A or party B will win elections in Ghana. I don't think so. You know, in times past, Ghana used to have a very striking resemblance, or if you like, a common feature that we shared with the United States of America in terms of regime change. And there used to be a time where anytime Americans voted for change, we also saw change in Ghana. But that changed in 2020. When Americans voted for change, they voted against Donald Trump. But in Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo won, at least per the official results declared by the Electoral Commission in Ghana. He was retained. Okay, so that was a departure from what the trend had been. And so I'm not one of those who think that the mere fact that Donald Trump wins an election, then that means the NDC will win an election or the MPP will win an election because their symbol is the elephant. What happened in the US was not a contest between symbols. It was a contest premised on critical issues. But for me, this is the relevant part. The outcome of the US election has some stark parallels with the ongoing campaign in Ghana. If you're a student of politics, you cannot but agree with me that there are significant parallels between the just ended US campaign, that is that of the Republicans and the Democrats, vis-a-vis what is going on in Ghana today, the MPP's campaign versus that of the NDC. And therefore, there are useful lessons that both parties need to draw from the outcome. There are useful lessons that the people of Ghana need to draw from the outcome of the US election. What are these parallels? Look, I can say that the campaign run by Vice President Kamala Harris is on all fours with the campaign being run by Vice President Bawumia.
How exactly?
Because here was a sitting vice president in the United States of America campaigning on the ticket of her own party and preaching change, attempting to distance herself from policies of the government that she's passed and parcel off, creating the impression that she will be her own woman. In fact, she even said that her government was not going to be a continuation of the government of Joe Biden. You understand? And so you saw a vice president pretending to be an opposition leader in his own government and even trying to preach against policies that his government, her government, had implemented. That is the same thing happening in Ghana, where you have a sitting vice president, Alhaji Bawumia, claiming to be a mere driver's mate in his own government, even though he is the chairman of the economic management team. And the president has told us that when it comes to the economy, he is the alpha and the omega. He is the economic messiah and wizkid that Ghana needs. And today, he is telling Ghanaians that, look, my party is in power. I am the vice president of that government and chairman of the economic management team. But you are going through many problems, including high taxes. Taxes that my own party, which is in government, has imposed on you. But vote for my party. And when I become president, I will scrap those taxes. Have you heard this before? This is simply contradictory. This is double speak. This is hypocritical. And when he's asked, why don't you do that now, since you have the power? Your party, on whose ticket you are running, is in office. And all these things are in the manifesto of your party. You are the leader. Why don't you do that now? He laughs and says, oh, if I do this now, what will be there for me to do tomorrow when I win power?
That was in jest.
Not in jest.
It was in jest.
He meant that seriously. He never took it back.
I sat just by him, and I could see he was just having a joke.
No, you were in that video. And I'm sure you yourself could not believe that the vice president was saying that. You understand that? Why do I do it now? But people are suffering now. People are dying now. You don't care because you want to win power and have work to do tomorrow. You won't do the important things that ought to be done today. So you hear him say that, oh, utilities are so high, but I have both solutions. Both solutions for the problem that his own government has created in the last 8 years. And you never hear him talking about both solutions for the ever depreciating cedi. So I say that Bawumia and Kamala Harris both run, or if in the case of Bawumia, he is running a campaign very similar to that of Kamala Harris, because they are all attempting to exculpate themselves from liability and responsibility. They are attempting in futility to distance themselves from their own government. You see, the people of this country are discerning, just like the people of America. And just like the people of America did not buy that, I know that the people of Ghana will not buy that campaign of Bawumia, because he's one and the same as Akufo-Addo. You cannot separate him from the MPP. And so he cannot be telling us to vote for him to come and change what the MPP has done to us, destroying our economy, when the MPP is in power and can do those things today. A vote for Bawumia is nothing but a 10-10 vote for Akufo-Addo. And I know that the
66% of the people who voted for Trump voted for him on the basis of his capacity to transform the economy.
Yeah.
And they refer to his track record. Can Ghanaians say the same?
Emphatically, yes. That is why I say that there are a lot of significant parallels. Look, in America, the main issue that voters considered in making their choice was the economy, like you said. Now, what was that economic issue that was really at the forefront of Trump's campaign? Inflation, high inflation. Is inflation a problem in Ghana today? Yes. In 2022, Samson, we had inflation rise to an unprecedented high of 54%, the highest in the last 50 years. That totally eroded the capital and profit margins of businesses. Many people lost their jobs and their businesses and their livelihoods because of that. And according to the World Bank, it is because this government recklessly decided to get a central bank to print over 45 billion cedis for them in 2022 alone. That is what led to that hyperinflation that, according to the World Bank again, plunged over 800,000 people into poverty. Now, Samson, in our case, it is not just inflation. We have defaulted on our debt obligations as a country under the MPP and under the watch of Bawumia as chairman of the economic management team for the first time in 50 years. Today, our economy, which was rated B- under Mahama, is rated junk. Today, unemployment in Ghana has risen from 8.4% under Mahama, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, to close to 15%. Today, you need more than 17 Ghana cedis to buy a dollar, when under Mahama Ghanaians know that they needed just about 4 cedis, 20 pesos. That is when the dollar was at its highest. You understand? Rates per the cedi. Today in Ghana, interest rates are hovering around 35%, 40%. Businesses are dying. Businesses are relocating from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, to Togo, to Burkina, to Nigeria. Job losses all over. You cannot tell me that this economy we have today can be compared to the economy under John Mahama. And so clearly Ghanaians know that John Mahama has a proven track record in terms of sound management of the economy, and that he is a safe pair of hands that we can trust to steer Ghana out of the economic malaise.
So you see, voters,
we've been plunged.
Voters like me who don't vote because they have an attachment to a party, and you know, in Ghana and almost elsewhere, it's typically the same. You have people who are attached to their party regardless of what happens. They'll vote for their party. There are constituencies in the voter region, constituencies in the Ashanti region. They'll tell you in the voter region, there are constituencies, if you put a dog and put an NDC flag around it, it will win the elections. If you do the same in, say, Bantama or elsewhere, they will win the elections. People who don't have these attachments, they are looking to who has the solutions to the problems that we face. Dennis, do you have those solutions?
Thompson, let me say a very good morning to our boss here and Sammy. And also, happily announce that, yes, every cocoa farmer in Ghana today and their children are excited that Cabinet has just approved for all children of cocoa farmers in this country to receive free tertiary education. And I think it's a big deal. And so that is the most refreshing news this week. And Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia also went to the youth, and he tells them, based on all the foundation we've built over the period, over 2.3 million jobs created so far, but he's put in place and outlined clearly strategies to create 4 million more jobs in the next 4 years. And so whilst the cocoa farmers receive the needed skills for their children, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia provides the jobs for these young people.
Are these election panic reactions?
No, this election is a continuation of the successes we have achieved whilst we work towards resolving the ones that are outstanding. So, for example, if you hear a government that has given free senior high school education to over 3 million children, tell you that, listen, these children's next most difficult period is tertiary. And so this is my solution to them. You have no reason to doubt that government.
I said how many million children?
Over 3 million.
Over 3 million?
Yes. So that's
someone asked me the other day to ask you, do you give the impression that but for free SHS, all of these people will not have been in school?
No, we've never said that. What we've said is that but for free SHS, over 100,000 will be home every year.
Okay.
And that's a big deal. So So in 8 years, you could have close to about 1 million who would remain at home, and that's like a big deal. And then also even those who are going, I managed to go through secondary education, but only God knows the torture that I went through. So that's also some 30%, 40% taking away that. So if the state decides to invest in this space, it's a big deal. It's a real big deal. But to the substantive matter for this morning, I agree with Sammy. And I'm glad he's departing from his party's official position.
I saw an attempt to dilute what you may have brought up.
Of course, because we had a conversation yesterday. We actually had a conversation.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we had a conversation on the AM show yesterday, so he knew where I was going to come from. But the point is that yes, people run all manner of things during elections. The numerologists, those who are looking in the skies. We have our local prophets doing their own thing. We have our posters. Some are doing agenda 1, agenda 2. People are doing permutations. There's so many things that go on. And so anybody at all can use the American situation to, also make a projection. But clearly in scientific terms, in real terms, you can't use the American situation to fit into the Ghana situation. My cousins in Latte, they don't care about who a certain Donald Trump or Kamala Harris is in America. And the fact that they are going into the poll to go and queue to vote for party A or B because a certain Donald Trump won elections.
No, the argument that he's done one term and because he was rejected, he cannot come to power again. I'm talking about John Mahama. And now you have Donald Trump. Disprove that kind of campaign.
I mean, these arguments can be made in several forms. There's an argument that the Americans have realized the biggest mistake they made by pushing aside the Conservative Party as a result of his challenges he had with COVID. And so Ghanaians today are patting themselves and say, hey, look at America. Had we made the same mistake by voting for John Mahama in 2020, by now, we would also be putting our hands on our heads like Americans are doing with Kamala Harris and begging for Nana Addo to come back. Because fundamentally, Donald Trump was voted out of power in 2020 as a result of the challenges he had with COVID. That's fact. And all of its management. In fact, during the COVID period, he had to spend a lot of time to explain why the inflation and the economy was going through challenges as a result of COVID. And he was constantly blaming the Chinese people for introducing all of these things. So after they voted him out, they realized that we voted out a Conservative Party and brought in these Democrats, and their situation is worse. So Kamala lost the elections because she was a bad government. Basically, that is what it was. She and her party, the Democrats, were a worse option to what the Americans experienced under Donald Trump. But it's not the same in Ghana. Under Donald Trump in America, he did not plunge the Americans into darkness for over 4 years. He never did that. Under Donald Trump in America, indeed, even during COVID, he had to make sure that they were making some payments to some public servants, even in those crises. But in Ghana, under the former President Mahama, 2013, 14, 15, 16 nurses, teachers were left on the streets. They were picketing to be employed. Nurses and teachers' allowances were removed. It happened under this government. Today you tell us, oh no, we never removed nurses and teachers' allowance. We replaced it with scholarship. Who in this country, which nurse or teacher in this country received any scholarship after they removed it? In fact, he told them that he was not going to negotiate with them. And that if it is as a result of the allowances that they will vote for him, then they should vote against him. So it is not the same. I mean, Donald Trump never told the American people that he was a dead goat, and that in spite of the challenges that they were going through, he wasn't going to listen to them. Mahama did. So I find it quite bizarre that instead of coming with solutions that confront the typical Ghanaian in Akuse, or Lower Benyanuaso, or Ayeswano, you are here talking about somebody being a former president. Yes, former presidents can always win power. Donald Trump is not the first person. Brazil recently did the same. It is not news. Former presidents can win power. That is why even some presidents can run for 4, 5, 6 times before they win. There's nothing news about that. The difference here is that not every former president wins power back. It is only former presidents who are deemed to be fit and proper and competent who win power back. And so that when I hear the NDC talk, and they list and outline all the challenges that this country is experiencing now, I laugh. Yes, there are challenges. There are real difficulties at the moment in this country. But nobody is going to vote for you because there are challenges. Especially because your leader has been president before. We are not going into the elections in 28 days on emotions. We are going into the 2024 elections on facts and our realities. So everybody is going to stand up and say, well, I am at the poll right now. I have a ballot paper. Here am I confronted with a vice president with its own successes and challenges in this government, and now confronted with a former president who was in power before. Now, of all the 12 or 13 people on the ballot, only one person has been president before. Only one person has been commander-in-chief before. Only one person has been given the mandate to run the affairs of this country before, and that's the former president. And you failed woefully. You were a total failure, and that's why you were voted out. So if you're going to come back, you see, Donald Trump didn't only come back to tell the American people that vote for me to come back because Kamala has failed. Donald Trump espoused cogent, clear policies to address the current challenges of the American people. Talk of the immigration.
A key point of his campaign was that Kamala Harris represented continuity of the bad of Biden's administration.
No, he spoke about specific issues, immigration.
No, I'm saying a key part
but
of
I'm
his
telling
campaign
you that the leading,
was that she represented continuity.
Definitely that will come up. But the lead conversation for Donald Trump was on immigration, was on sexuality. abortion issues. He was clear. He told the people that vote for me, if you vote for this lady, she's going to let all these people come into this country. They are going to rape you. They are going to steal from you. And if you listened and actually followed the American elections, exactly, it was quite clear that a bigger percentage of the reasons why Donald Trump is coming back to power is because of his immigration issues, because of his foreign policy.
No, the bigger percentage by facts is because of economy, 66%.
I'm listing 3 or 4 things, so let me finish. Because of his immigration
is second.
Because of his foreign policies, Ukraine, the Gaza situation.
He says he will stop the war in Ukraine before he is sworn into office. We are waiting.
Now, when you come to the economic issues, he listed line by line things that he did better than Kamala. And that is, for me, is what, if you really want to use Donald Trump as a trump card, you do in Ghana. You see, the teachers you left at home and did not recruit them, they are there, they will vote against you. The children that you denied the opportunity to go to school because their families were poor, some said, these children will vote against you. These are economic issues. You understand? The nurses and teachers were asking for better conditions of service. That you told them that you were a dead goat and you're not afraid of their strikes. Today they have received 3-fold increase in their salaries. They will vote against you. You see, the industries, the factories, multimedia here, people lost their jobs here because of doing so. These people have not forgotten.
Then you should not be campaigning.
No, we will campaign.
You make it look so.
No, we will campaign. No, it's not simple. We will campaign because we understand the human psychology, and we understand that somebody can even be hungry, and you can let the person feel that he's full. And so when people are full or they are hungry, draw their attention. We are not naive.
Okay.
We are not ignorant of the facts and of the issues. But you see, today...
No, today, you don't reply.
Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia goes around and says...
It's supposed to be a preliminary issue.
This is what we have achieved in every sector, Samson. Okay. But we admit that we have economic challenges.
Right.
For example, he says, we have challenges in managing our city. But this is my solution. I think that we need to begin to back our currency with gold. And so this is my approach. In terms of jobs, this is my approach. In terms of health, this is my approach. He has never said anywhere that there were no challenges. In fact, Dr. Bawumia is never on record saying anywhere that is not part of this government. What he has done rather is to spend time to outline all the successes of the government and then indicate the government challenges and propose solutions to deal with those challenges. And that is what the Ghanaian people are going to use to take a decision as to whether they trust somebody who flip-flops. Today says that I don't believe in free SHS. If I have 2 billion I won't put in it. Tomorrow comes, I'll do it. In fact, today as we speak, let me remind you, the former president himself is campaigning against his own campaign. He went to a constituency to tell them that, listen, the economy is so bad and I don't think I can promise you a stadium. Okay, now he goes to the voter region and says, when I come, I'll build you a stadium. So he himself, even in opposition, he is campaigning against his own campaign.
Thank you.
So when I hear them talk about campaigning against your own government, I find it quite bizarre.
Thank you, Dennis.
The fact is that... let me wrap up.
No.
Oh, by the time...
you have overdone your time.
Anyway,
so immediately...
The fact is that...
Immediately I announced the two of them. Some people have been sending messages and they say, today you are in trouble.
We disappointed them.
I'm trying to comfort them.
Come back before we do.
I'm trying to comfort them by saying that check who is sitting in between them.
Yes.
Okay, that's the towering figure who will moderate the two of them.
We are very mindful.
Now, some will say, I can't believe what you say. Try to be careful about that kind of communication. And so they tell you that the vice president was responsible for specific things and policies.
Yes.
And like Dennis just told us, just a couple of days ago, he made some promise and suddenly cabinet has, passed them. And they clearly want to use that to bolster his campaign.
And that is right. I can respect that because he needs to be bolstered. He's looking to be president. So they have to do and say what they have to say in order to get him there. But I'm saying that it is not easy to jettison your president under whom you serve and together formulated and implemented policy. It's not easy.
Okay.
Kamala could not do that successfully. But if they can do it better.
We haven't done that actually.
Yeah.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay. So
we will not do that.
So Prof, thank you very much. Unfortunately, my guys here are asking for an opportunity to speak.
It's important.
But if we did that, we are clearly not going to be able
we are going up to 12.
transit to our next issue.
We're going up to 12. Something. In all fairness.
I
sent
you
if
I gave
time,
you 1 minute.
You gave me 8 minutes, about 30 seconds, 11 minutes.
I gave him 11 minutes, but he doesn't even recognize I gave him more time.
Yeah,
actually, you didn't give I used my watch. I don't know which watch was.
No problem. Because people are watching, they can go back and see.
Don't worry. I don't set my stopwatch
set for us
unless when these guys are here. We're taking a break. We return to Parliament. I'm sorry. Let's move on. You're welcome back. This is News File, it's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and my guest, Professor Bafo Adjumandria, former United Nations Senior Governance Advisor, Nanaya Omreku, International Relations and African Politics Analyst. He has left us. He's with the University of Ghana, Lesia, that's correct. Sammy Gyamfy is with the NDC, and Dennis Miracles Aboagye is with the NPP. Now, the two-party communicators will do about 3 minutes each of, if you like it, a reaction, and then we'll proceed. But some of your messages here, and this from Prince Henry in Koforidua says, the fact is the Americans voted against Kamala Harris and voted for Donald Trump because they felt that Kamala had mismanaged the economy and not prioritized their needs. The same way Ghanaians will vote against Dr. Bawumia and the NPP because he has mismanaged the economy. Change has left America and it's coming to Ghana. So that's what a typical NDC person will say. Then Yao says, should the study be on the personality of Donald Trump, or should the study focus on the priorities of the American people? At this point, everybody knows what you get when you vote for Trump. So we should now be interested in what the American people look out for in their leaders. So I think that's a big difference. Who Donald Trump represents is such a big difference. This one from Kweku, and he says, are there really many voters in Ghana who have not yet made up their minds and are waiting for the US elections to decide who to vote for on December 7? For me, though, the strongest parallel between the two elections is the economy. I would be surprised if any voter impacted by the Ghanaian economy, especially the depreciation of the cedi, would want to maintain the same party responsible for the current hardship. Okay. And then Dr. Aboagye says, I should add the theologians to the list that Professor Adjumandria just gave, because not only the evangelicals and the rest of them, even theologians, believe that Trump is the one who is coming to reset America back to the path of righteousness. Musa Abattoir says, Donald Trump's win hints at potential change because the US election outcomes often have influence in Ghana's election results. With both countries' vice presidents, Kamala Harris and Dr. Bawumia, distancing themselves from unpopular policies. In Ghana, Dr. Bawumia, who led the EMT, appears to be running away from some of the very policies he championed, like e-levy, emissions tax, baller tax, and many more, as Trump's Sankofa victory symbolizes Mahama's Sankofa agenda in Ghana. Okay, so interesting comments you are getting out there, and there's this one from the Alan Shamantin camp, and he says, it's unfortunate the duo in Ghana want to milk out heavily on the victory of Trump. Let these two understand that the victory of Trump was not a second coming or for his party, but rather on the issue of bread and butter. Samson, Alan has presented to Ghana a blueprint to the economic crisis recovery, the Great Transformational Plan, GTP. In this plan are realistic, achievable, sustainable policy prescriptions that can be delivered on record in record time. Thank you. And this is by Nanaya Sapong. Thank you. So I'll pause with your messages here, and then I'm going to hold Dennis, Sammy and Dennis to 3 minutes of rebuttals, if you like. Yes, let's hear you.
Well, Samson, Dennis made a point that President Mahama has been president before, and so for that reason, people will not vote for him because he listed a number of challenges that Ghanaians went through under Mahama. But you see, the reason why Ghanaians will vote for John Mahama is because of the same reason cited by Dennis. It is because he has been president before, and they know that he has a proven track record of sound economic management, which is what, according to the polls, Ghanaians consider their topmost priority today. Ghanaians are saying that cost of living has become unbearable. The hardships are simply too much, and they are looking for a leader who has done it before relative to the stability of the economy to come and do it again. They know that, yes, under Mahama, there were challenges, but you needed just about 4 cedis to get $1. Today, you need more than 17 cedis. 17 cedis to the dollar cannot be better than 4. They know that under Mahama, if you lent to the government, you were safe because you could go to sleep knowing that government will pay. You never suffered from haircuts and DDEP like people are suffering today. They know that under Mahama, even though we had challenges with unemployment, it was just at about 8%. Today, it has almost doubled, hovering around 15%. They know that, yes, under Mahama, we didn't have zero inflation, but an inflation rate of 15% is definitely better than 22%. Ghanaians are discerning, they know. So the track record is there. You understand? Number two, when they cite these challenges, that under Mahama, the nurse who didn't get employment will vote against you. What about the professional allied workers who have been home for 5 years as we speak today and who have not been posted by your government? What about the teachers, the nurses who have been home for 3 years, 4 years, who have not been posted by your government? At least they know that under John Mahama, they could benefit from automatic employment. They know that under John Mahama, the challenges you speak of, like Doomsor, which was an inherited problem, was fixed. And so, just like Trump was ridiculed as a one-time president, and you are doing same to Mahama today, Ghanaians can read in between the lines and see that no, most of the things you said against Mahama were lies. Posterity has judged him positively. We now believe in him, and he's the man we can trust to lead. Finally, I think I have 1 more minute. Finally,
no, 10 seconds.
You see, Prof made an observation about Christian values, which were very critical in this election. The issue of LGBTQ. Ghana, I can say, even has stronger cultural sensitivities to that issue than the United States of America. Today, among the two candidates or the two parties running, we know that the MPP clearly supports LGBT.
Really?
Yeah, we know. Their finance minister has come out abusing reasons
Kamala
why
Harris was here and he was pressurizing the president to make this happen.
The finance minister.
I thought the accusation was that the executive and the judiciary are in cahoots to keep the bill away from.
Akufo-Addo has been emphatic that he's not signing the bill, and the finance minister of government has adduced. He wrote a 3-pager explaining why government will not sign that bill, because if they sign that bill, they won't get money. So clearly the MPP supports LGBTQI. So for me,
we have heard Akufo-Addo categorically,
and I've heard you read the quote right now.
Without any equivocation.
I've heard you read
that he doesn't support it today. He doesn't support it tomorrow.
I heard you read the
quote. We have heard Dr. Baumia, who is going into the election, say straightforward.
Like I just heard you read here that if I see you doing something differently from what you say, I believe what you say.
Thank you.
Actions speak louder than words.
Thank you. Now let me go to Dennis. I'm sorry. Ernest sent a message. He says that the major similarity in the campaign is in the campaign messages, or what? He says, till the last days of the campaign period, all Kamala had as a message was Trump. I have never heard Baumia or any other MPP mount a stage without mentioning Mahama. It's bread and butter for us, and they are busy playing poker. We will make that decision and make it clear from Ernest. Yes.
Samson, we are going to make that decision, all of us. Every Ghanaian has a single vote. And you see, the NDC is their flip-flopping inconsistencies and blatant lies that will keep them in opposition. Some of the lies they say are so fictitious that it's like they sleep, wake up, cook it, and put it on the media for everybody to swallow. I mean, I sit here listening to Sammy talk about LGBTQI, and I don't know why he doesn't realize that it's a lie that you've been peddling for 2-3 years. It didn't work, and you should look for something else. We have 28 days to elections. Tell the people something else.
Find a bill.
Absolutely something else. It's like you are competing against some abstract candidate. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is your competitor in these elections. He's a devout Muslim. He has indicated at least 10 occasions, even much more equivocal, much more strongly than your candidate, on this position on LGBTQI. So you come and sit on TV, you know it is a lie, you know it is false, but the regular stock in trade, let me put out falsehood and assume that every Ghanaian is in your own candidate's understanding stupid. And so they will take it hook, line, sinker. And even when you are being corrected, no, you will not hear that.
Correct.
You not hear that. Now, again, Samson, I keep saying this, and I'll continue to say it. No Ghanaian voter is going to the poll because something has not been done. They are going to go to the poll to vote because something has not been done, and I think this is the person that can do it. You don't benefit from political gains automatically because there's an L somewhere. So you come and sit here and say, because inflation is there. Something. What is 8% to 15%? What is the difference? 8% to 50%. What's the difference? About 7%. That is where John Mahama took Ghana's inflation from 8% to 15%. So if you come and sit here and you say that inflation was 15% and it is 22%, so somebody will vote against Bawumia. It's either you are trying to play on the minds of the people, or you assume in your own understanding they are stupid. Because you took inflation from 8% to 15%. The economy that is in a mess today in your West is able to buy fuel to power generators, something you couldn't do.
Please, this is a screen.
The economy that is in a mess.
Too much and with your pen.
The economy that is in a mess today in your own West is able to keep the poor man's child in class. You couldn't do it. The economy that is in a mess, the economy that you claim is in a mess has been able to construct 12,000 kilometers of roads. You did 4,000. The economy that is in a mess has added close to about 6 new illnesses to our health insurance. By the time you were leaving office, 1.5 million people had left.
Please, your hand.
The worry for the Ghanaian people is not just because there are challenges. The worry is that they do not trust your candidate. He's not truthful. He's not consistent. You sit here and you tell us. You sit here and you tell us that people will be judged not based on what they say, but how they act. And you have a candidate that's basically opposed every single good for the Ghanaian people, only to start saying, I will do all of them because he wants their vote. And you think that people will just latch onto it, go and queue. I don't see any Ghanaian that will go and queue and vote for John Mahama. I'm telling you that. Maybe except for those who are wearing the red, green, white, and blue. The Sammy Gyamfy and co. But you see, this is a very serious matter that the NDC want to trivialize and leave it as if it doesn't matter to the Ghanaian.
All right, thank you very much.
The economy that cannot service debt is ensuring that everybody has electricity. Your economy that could service debt couldn't simply buy fuel for generators. Your economy couldn't buy chalk for the Ghanaian child. Your economy couldn't keep teachers and nurses employed. Your economy.
If you accuse him of exaggerating, I think you shouldn't do this.
No, but this is fact. This is fact.
When you say the economy could not afford chalk,
yes, but it's true.
That's not true.
No, but it is true.
No.
The second lady, every Ghanaian watching
that comment was an isolated comment.
But which of the things we are discussing here is it an isolation matter? Okay. Is it the case that every NAPCO person is 5
minutes?
Okay, thank you. Is
it the case? Which of them is it an isolated
once again,
matter?
I'm being faulted of my time management. Prof, what would you say? But clearly, on the LGBT matter that Sammy mentions, there's a perception that the NPP must fight, which is that if the president was actually interested, he would have signed the bill. Because people have seen that it is the NPP that has sponsored people to go to the Supreme Court to want to challenge this process, and the president's hands are sort of tied, but somewhat they are the ones behind it because they don't want to sign
reality.
it. Yes, Prof.
My point is different and straightforward. I think these two political parties must realize that a lot of Ghanaians are frustrated. A lot of Ghanaians on these coming elections have not made up their mind, and there are some who are even threatening not to vote at all because they've tasted 16 years of the NPP, 16 years of the NDC, and not many Ghanaians can say that they are better off. So they should be cautious in their statements.
Yeah.
Look, somebody like me, I voted in every election, but as I sit here, I've not been able to make up my mind. And let me tell you what somebody told, a very wise person told me, discussing this matter. He said, Prof, you know what? We just have two evils. So you decide the lesser evil and vote for it. And that for me, coming from that person, said a lot. So I think this duopoly that we have, there are a lot of people who are not happy with that. So I think it's important. Just like Trump took his strong-headed approach on ideological grounds to win the crowd, we need to have...
And on bread and butter issues.
Of course, that's the bottom line.
Muhammad says, it is about the economy.
So all I'm saying is that don't be sure. A lot of Ghanaians are going to sit on the fence because of their disappointment of the past 32 years.
And Prof, I was surprised. I was going to...
16.
Prof, I was going to court with my juniors in the firm, and one of them said, "I'm not going to vote." I said, "Come on, you won't do that. You have to vote."
That's right.
I said, "I'm not going to vote," and the reason she gave was the reasons you are outlining now.
Interesting.
Right.
But it's actually a misconception, you know.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Because we just came to Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is what we do. We take a quick break. We return into the issues in Parliament.